Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Programa de Comercio Exterior. Welcome to our daily lectures. Welcome back to our English classes. I hope everyone has had a great Christmas, and everyone is preparing themselves to receive the New Year's. Hopefully, this year will be better. Hopefully, things will change, and we can try to go back to normal. In the meantime, please take care. Please be careful. Please don't go out if it's not necessary. And if you do go out, take the necessary precautions when you go back home, because as you have already heard, and personally having a brother that is a doctor, um, he keeps mentioning how the numbers are going up and up and up, and the intensive care units in hospitals are going down and down. So please, it's inevitable that this was going to happen. If it's happening in Europe and in other places of the world, it's inevitable that it was not going to happen here in Peru. So just in case, please be careful. Remember to wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Wear your mask. Avoid crowded places. And if you have to go to a crowded place, when you go back home, take a shower, take your clothes off, wash your clothes, clean your shoes. Okay. So again, welcome back. I'm happy to be with everyone here. Remember that these lectures I will follow you through Zoom and also through the Facebook app. Okay, so just remember that when we interact through the Facebook app, sometimes it takes a minute or so to for me to answer your questions, because for some reason there is a delay. For some reason there's always a delay, but I always follow you on to answer any questions or doubts that you might have. Okay, so we're going to start this new season, let's call it like that, of English classes, talking about traveling first. Um, the name, well, first of all, let me um, the name of this lecture is Vacations in Europe, but it's Vacations in Europe 1 and 2, because it's going to be divided into sets today and on Wednesday. Today we're going to um, talk a little bit about calendars and a little bit about the grammar, a little bit, not that much, because we're going to continue talking about it next class. Okay, but this is the topic of today's class and the next class. So, my name is Carlos Martinez Flores. Okay, I am an English instructor and speaking coach. I am a former team leader at Pacific University, and currently I am an EFL teacher at Metropolitan School in Miraflores. Okay, so let's begin. What is travel and why do we do it? Okay, especially nowadays that we are at the end of the year, many people like to travel. Many people like to go to the south, to the north, to the jungle, to the mountains. You know, our country is so varied that we have many options, but people like to travel. People like to move, from one place to another. Now, if I ask you what travel is, if you ask this question to 15 different people, you'll get 15 different answers, definitely. The dictionary can't even make up its mind. There are many words that are similar to travel. Definitions include like to go, to journey, to move in a given direction. All of these certainly seem vaguely like travel. Okay, but it has to say that travel is much more than just movement, definitely. Because if I go, for example, from here to my house to the supermarket, I'm not traveling. I'm moving, but I'm not traveling. If I go, for example, I live in Chorrillos, and if I travel to Barranco, but I will not consider that as traveling. Okay, the journey would perhaps hone in on my definition when the expression hone means to, you know, focus more. It implies moving or going from one place to another with some kind of meaningful experience. Now, this is the key, meaningful experience. Okay, for example, if I go to Cusco um, because I want to visit Machu Picchu or Sacsayhuamán or the city of Cusco, and that is meaningful for me, then that will consider traveling, right? Um, so there's a difference between moving commuting, because commuting is different, right? Commuting, commuting. Commuting is different because when you commute, you travel because but for work. Okay. In this case, we're going to talk about traveling more for pleasure than for work. Okay. Now, why do people travel? Well, there are many reasons. The first and most important one could be for work, like I said, but that's commuting. Okay, so we travel for various reasons, but I think it's interesting to note that vacations are often referred to as gateways. Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about traveling for pleasure and maybe some for business. Okay, but when you travel for work or for study, that's commuting. Remember, commuting. Most often, we travel to get away from something, be it a bad job, a relationship, a stereotype, or just nagging the sense of wanderlust. Okay, when I'm nagging sense, I mean I just want to travel. I just want to have the experience. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are traveling to escape, but even just a short vacation to the beach or an unfamiliar city can serve as an escape. This is for me at least. I think that this is the basic reason why people travel, because we want to just change. We want to change the environment. We want to change the people we're around normally, or we want to change the stress of living in the city. You know, I don't know if you can hear right now, but I live on a main road, so I constantly deal with the horns of the cars, the traffic. I live across the street from a firefighter, so every now and then you're going to listen to the fire truck just going out and making its noise. In the last couple of lectures that we had, my neighbor was repairing something, so we had the sound of the drill and the hammering. So sometimes you want to escape that, right? So I think that's the main reason why people travel, at least for pleasure. So now let's look at a dialogue here. Normally when you want to start traveling, the first thing you do is you go to a travel agency. I mean, especially if you're going to make a trip that is long and that involves flying or involves tours, right? If you're, for example, not if you're going to travel, let's say, for a couple of hours to a place in, let's say, in here in Peru, you want to go to the south, let's say Ica or Asia or or Lurin. I mean, you don't need to go to a travel agent because you could do that on your own, because you're going to go for a couple of hours and you're going to come back. But when you're planning on traveling for many hours, many days, and you're going to go to a place that is, I mean, you haven't been before, it is recommended that you go to a travel agent, right? And they will help you out with everything from booking a flight if it's necessary, or booking a hotel, or booking the tour package, right? Although nowadays with COVID, some of these things might have been relegated, because I mean there are places that we cannot travel, but still, well, I'm pretty sure that we're going to go back soon, and when we do, then we need to know how to do it and do it properly, right? So here's an example. Okay, so I'm going to read the example of this dialogue. All the words that are in black are words um, um, that are common when you have these types of conversations. Okay, yeah, these are words that are common when you talk with your travel agent. Okay, these are templates that you can use if you find them, if you find it necessary. So here it says, hi, I need help planning my vacation. Sure, where would you like to go? Where would you like to go? Okay, it's a very polite way of asking. I haven't decided where to go yet. Normally, when we use this is a very common expression when you use the word yet when something is not done. Then you say present perfect, right? I haven't decided where to go yet. Uh, the opposite will be already. Okay, but in this case, it is negative. We're using yet, and when you use yet, you use present perfect, right? Do you enjoy warm or cold climates? I'm thinking that I might enjoy a tropical climate. Okay, I have some brochures here that you might like to look at. Brochures, you see this in the image here. You see that the lady is with some sort of paper showing, okay, as a brochure, right? So brochures contain information about the place where you're going to go. It contains information about, for example, the activities, the all the um, commodities that a place has and stuff like that. These look great. Do you know how much you want to spend on this vacation? Very important. That's your budget, right? I have about $1,000 to spend on this trip. When you say I have about, you say approximate. It's not an exact number. I have about $1,000 to spend on this trip. Well, take these brochures and get back to me when you want to make your reservations. Okay, get back to me is call me again or come back or meet me again. Okay, so this is a typical conversation between, in this case, Pedro and his or her travel and his travel agent. Okay, um, notice the formality. Notice that we use modal verbs like would, right? Um, how about, or get back to me. Okay, you might. Okay, this is very common to use modal verbs. Okay, today we're going to talk about only two. We're going to talk about two grammatical structures, will and going to, for plans, but we're also going to talk about modals in the next class. Now here is another dialogue. Now here it's a lady with her travel agent. Okay, again, could you help me with my vacation plans? Okay, it's very common to use modal verbs, can, could. Okay. You should never use imperatives. Imperatives is like commands, right? Like help me. You normally don't do that. You normally use modal verbs to make your requirements more polite. Do you know where you will be traveling? Okay. I'm open to suggestions at this point. So in this case, you have no idea. You just want to travel, but you want your travel agent to suggest the best place depending on your budget, the best place depending on the time, the best place depending on the season. Right? Do you want to travel to a tropical climate, or would you like to go somewhere with a cooler climate? I would like to travel to a cooler destination. I would like to travel. You see, it's a very common expression using modal verb, the modal verbs would and would like. I can give you some brochures that could give you some ideas. Okay, again, modal verbs. I can, because she could have said, "Here are some brochures," right? But no, she has decided to say, "I can," so it makes it more polite, more formal. I will look at them right now. Okay, so when you make a decision at the moment, you use will. For example, we're going to see that in a little bit. I will look at them right now. How much money is in your budget for this trip? Again, it's important. You see the budget, how much money you're going to spend. I think I spend about $200 a day. So notice that here there are two expressions of approximate, right? I think, I think, I'm just giving if it's different if she would have said, I am going to, right? But she says, I think, and then she says, I can spend about, okay, so here we have, I can spend about is another expression I mean, the number is an approximate, okay? That doesn't mean she's going to spend 200, maybe it's 100, 150. But I think when you say this, it's like, this is the maximum amount you're going to spend, right? Take your time choosing a destination, and when you've narrowed it down, I'll be happy to make you a reservation. The expression narrow it down, that means when you have all these options, when you narrow it down, you reduce maybe to one, two, or three. Okay, this is basically the expression narrow it down when you want to go from many to just one or two. Okay, so these are some common dialogues and templates that are used when interacting with your travel agent. Okay, now I'm going to give you some vocabulary. So, for example, we have the expressions a week, a day, a month off. We have resort. We have cruise. We have luxury liner. We have port. We have all-inclusive package. We have hiking. We have travel agent. We have online. We have check out. We have book. We have flight. We have sightseeing. we have gallery, and we have play. Okay, all of these are nouns. Okay, and let's check now. Look at our options. Letter A, an airline trip. Letter B, on the internet. Letter C, time free from work. Letter D, to make a reservation to save a place. Letter E, a place to go for holidays and recreation. Letter F, a harbor, a place where ships load and unload. Letter G, a holiday that includes air, hotel, and often food for one price. Letter H, to look for information. Letter I, taking a long walk, usually up a mountain. Letter J, a large cruise ship. Letter K, to visit tourist places. Letter L, a pleasure trip on a boat. Letter M, a person who helps others plan trips. Letter N, a live theater performance, live, that in the moment. Letter O, a building that displays works of art. Okay, so now what we're going to do right now is we're going to match 1 through 15 with A through O. Okay, so the first one, let's see. Oh, a week, a day, a month off. Which of these would it be? Do you think it's letter A? Do you think it's letter B? Do you think it's letter C? Letter D? Okay, so let's see. A week, a day, a month off will be letter C. Time free from work. Okay, so it depends. For example, you can say, oh, I have a week off. That means that you're not working. Or I have 2 days off. That means that you're not working. Or I have a month or 2 months. Normally here in Peru, when we are vacations, excuse me, when we are vacations, we have a month off, right? Some people sometimes have a week or fortnight, 2 weeks, etc. Number two, resort. Which ones do you think is a resort? I'm going to give you a minute. Think. And if you said letter E, you were correct. A resort is a place to go for holidays and recreation. That is a resort, a place to go for holidays and recreation. What about a cruise? What is a cruise? Okay, so again, if you said letter L, you were correct. A pleasure trip on a boat. A pleasure trip on a boat. That is a cruise. Now, the one that confused you maybe, Erika. It says luxury liner. What is a luxury liner? A luxury liner is letter J, a large cruise ship. Okay, so notice that one thing is a cruise, which is to go on a trip on a boat, and the next is the cruise ship. Okay, which is the luxury liner. Next, we have the port. What do you think is a port? Thank you, Erika, for your participation, though. I appreciate it. Which is a port? Okay. If you said letter F, then you were correct. A port is a harbor, a place where ships load and unload. You've seen this at the beginning of our lectures, where we talked about vocabulary about, exactly, yes, where boats stay, the difference between a harbor and a port. Next, all-inclusive package. Which is an all-inclusive package? Any ideas? Okay, if you said letter G, then you were correct. A holiday that includes air, hotel, and everything. That is an all-inclusive package. Hiking. What is hiking? Very good. If you said I, you were correct. Taking a long walk, usually up a mountain. Next, travel agent. Which one is travel agent? If you said letter M, you were correct. A travel agent is the person who helps others to plan trips. Very good, Erika. Good. Good. Next, online. This is very common now. Like, for example, these classes are online. If you said letter B, you were correct. Online, on the internet. Next, checkout. Now, this can be confusing if you're thinking about, let's say, um, hotels, because a checkout can also mean when you leave a hotel. But in this case, as you can see, it is not an option. So this is the other use of the expression checkout. Like if I say, check it out, check it out. What do you think it means? Yeah, it's very good to look for information, okay? Let me check it out. Let me check out if there are hotel rooms. Let me check out the flight, okay? So remember that English depends a lot on the context. If I say I'm going to check out of my hotel, then that means I'm leaving. But if I say check out something, that means you need to investigate or look for. Good. Next, book. I'm going to book my flight. I'm going to book a table in that restaurant. Very good. If you said letter D, then you were correct. To book, to make a reservation, or to save a place. Now, simple, flight. 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 If you said letter A, you were correct. An airplane trip. Very good. Flight. Next, sightseeing. This is a verb that many students sometimes get confused or they don't understand. Sightseeing. If you said letter K, then you were correct. Sightseeing is to visit tourist places, but you go, basically, you don't go in the car, you go walking, or sometimes they take you on a bus, but you normally stop and you just take pictures and go around touristic places. And that is to go sightseeing, okay? You see the sights, you see the important places, you see you see the famous places of a city. Here in Lima, if you go to here in La Unión and to Plaza San Martín and Plaza de Armas, you're going to see tourists sightseeing and taking pictures and walking around. Number 14, gallery. You only two options, and your options are letter O and letter N. So the answer is O, a building that displays works of art. Okay, that is a gallery. Very good, Erika. Yes, K is to sightseeing. The gallery is O. And finally, a play. A play. This is not the verb. Remember, that's what I said at the beginning. These are all nouns. The noun play. I'm going to see a play is a live theater performance. Okay. For example, if, the most famous plays are in Broadway in New York, for example. Okay. Cats was a very famous play. So there it is, a live theater performance. Okay, so these are some words that you normally use when you travel, because, for example, like just mentioned, if you go to New York, you want to see the famous plays, or you want to sightsee, or here in Lima, if you want to see a play, where do you go? Or how do you book a hotel or book a flight? Okay, or if you want to go in Lima, you can go hiking to some places like Loma de la Chay and Loma de Ancon. But if you want to go hiking, normally you go to the mountains or to the hills. And all-inclusive packages. There are many here in Lima that you can go to the north, in Cienegui and Chosica. So these are just common words that you can use. Okay, so write these down in your notebook as vocabulary. Okay, and let's continue. Thank you, Erika, for your participation. Now, as I mentioned before, there are two expressions that we use when we talk about plans. Okay, remember, this is not exactly about we're not, even though the plans are in the future. Remember that there in English there is no specific grammar to talk about the future per se, um, but there are expressions that we can use to help us. In this case, we're going to talk about will and going to. Okay, now here are some differences between will and going to. We use will to express future actions decided at the moment. Okay, so in this moment, for example, if I say, oh, it's very cold, please close the window, and let's say one of my students says, teacher, I will close it. So I know that in that moment, he's going to stand up and close the window. He made the decision in the moment. Okay, but if somebody says, teacher, I am going to close it, that means that it's not going to be in this moment, it's going to be maybe later. Okay, so but no, I need it for now, so we're going to use will. Okay, when you make a decision in the moment, we use will. So notice the first difference: express future actions decided in that moment, whereas going to, we have the we are going to talk about future actions but that were decided before, with anticipation. Okay, with basically a lot of anticipation. So that is what the first difference. One is immediate decision. I will have salad and fish. Okay, and you, when you made plans before to do something, you're going to use going to. Next, to express a prediction based on personal opinions or experiences, predictions without evidence. Okay, you don't know. I mean, you're making a prediction. Okay, because of what you think or what you like, but I mean, it's not going to necessarily be true. But we use going to when you base your when you're talking with facts. It's more objective. So in this case, will can be used more. You can say that will is more subjective, a subjective future, and going to is more an objective future. Okay. um, and the last one is to express a future fact and express something that is about to happen. Okay. um, when something when you just want to say a fact, you're going to use will. The sun will rise. I mean, you have no control over that, so it's going to happen. And the other one is to express that something, when something is about to happen, I mean, it's very close for something to start, then you say going to. Get back, the bomb is going to explode. If you say the bomb will explode, then maybe yes, maybe no, we're not sure. I mean, but since you're very sure and it's about to happen, you use going to. Both will and going to can be used for making future predictions without having a real different. I mean, yes, I think it will be foggy tomorrow. I think it's going to be foggy tomorrow. You make a future prediction, although I just want to make sure, I just want to uh, um, go a little bit further, that normally we use will in the situations. For example, when we use will when there's basically no control over it. Okay, you don't know if it's going to happen or not. And you use going to when you're very sure about something. Okay, that's why when you talk about the weather, normally you're always going to use will because it's in control, but we don't know. We might the weatherman or meteorologist can tell you what they think is going to happen, but sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Okay. So again, remember, will, immediate actions in the future. Going to is for actions that you have planned previously. Okay. Will, no, will, you decided in that moment. Second, when it's more subjective, it's based on your opinions, based on your experience, whereas going to is more objective, it's going to happen because of the facts. And finally, to express a future fact and to express when something is about to happen or is very close to happening. Okay, now with this information, here I have some sentences that I would like for us to complete, and we're going to decide if we're going to use will or going to. Okay, it depends based on what we just practiced. Okay, based on what we just practiced. So let's see, number one, If you help me, I sooner. Sorry, there's a mistake there. It should be Sooner. The typo, my mistake. If you help me, I sooner. So I am going to, or I will finish sooner. What do you think? If you help me, I will finish sooner. Okay. Now this is more also based on the fact that this is conditional. This is the first conditional, and normally the rule says that present and will. Right. So if you help me, I will finish sooner. She London next week. What do you think? She will visit London next week, or she is going to visit London next week? What do you think? She is going to visit London next week because, like I said, plans, future. Very good, Erika, very good. These shoes are really dirty. I will clean them, or I am going to clean them. So my shoes are dirty. I will clean them, or I am going to clean them. Hmm. I will clean them, of course, because I mean, you're going to do that in the moment. You're not going to do it later. Are you going to go out with your shoes dirty? If I see that my shoes are dirty, I will clean them immediately, right? She 18 on Monday. She 18 on, okay, she will be or she is going to be. What do you think? So the answer is she will be 18. It's a fact. I mean, when it's your birthday, that's what's going to happen. Okay. Or are you going to, well, although some people, once they reach a certain age, they start to go back. But normally you go forward, right? If you are 20, your birthday, you're going to be 21. If you're 40, you're going to be 41. So it's inevitable, right? It's very hot in here. I will open the window, or I am going to open the window. I will open the window because, like I said before, I mean, you're going to do it immediately. If it's hot and I say I'm going to open the window, so that means that's in the future. So if I'm hot, I'm going to continue being hot. No, I mean, I want the window to open, so I'll do it immediately. Next, the baby fall down. He doesn't walk very well. The baby fall down. He doesn't walk very well. Is going to fall down, okay, because it's about to happen. I mean, okay, it's like, well, my children are big. Well, my daughter is 3, but when she was started walking, I mean, I knew she took 2 or 3 steps and she was going to fall down because she's not walking well yet. I mean, it's inevitable. It's very hot here. I will open the door. Very good. Again, the same as the window one. They a new car next month. They a new car next month. Very good, Erika. Yes. They are going to, right? Next month. You have plans with anticipation next month. Very good. Tom get home about 10. Will get or is going to get home about 10. Will get, okay? So again, it's an approximate, I mean, normally it's very difficult to say, for example, when I used to, when we used to go to school, I used to finish around 4 and I would arrive home around 4:30 or 4:45 or 5, but not exactly because you never know if there's traffic, if there's something happens. So it's an approximate, right? Because if you say it's going to, that means it's going to be exact, okay? At 10 o'clock, you're going to be at home, but we don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe earlier, maybe later. At Paul's house very long? Not really, just a few days. What do you think? Will you stay or are you going to stay? Good. Are you going to stay at Paul's house very long? Not really, just a few days. So notice that This is something that I have planned it ahead. Okay, I have planned it with time. Okay, so this is not something that is with will. Okay, very good, Erika, very good. Okay, excellent. So these are the two grammars that I wanted to focus on today. Now let's go. Let's review. Just review. Okay, will to express future actions decided at the moment. To express future actions decided before, to a prediction based on opinions, subjective of a subjective future and an objective future with going to, and a future fact and something that is about to happen. Okay, so again, this is just a review of what you said. Very good, Erika, and I hope everybody else has been able to do the activities the same. Okay. Now, the last thing that we're going to talk about today is expressions referring to calendars. Okay. It sounds basic, but it's important for us to review because the English language has some different uses. So, for example, the names of the days of the week and the months are proper nouns. So remember, we need to talk about these things as nouns, as things. Okay, so they follow the rule of the nouns. So the basic word, these are the basic words we have today. Like today is Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Yesterday was Sunday. The day after tomorrow will be, okay, so if today is Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday, the day after tomorrow is Wednesday, right? The day before yesterday. So let's see, today is Monday, yesterday was Sunday, the day before yesterday was Saturday, right? Saturday. Good. Now, a year has 365 days. We have a year, we have 12 months, we have 52 weeks in a year. In a week, we have 7 days. A fortnight, it's 2 weeks. So if I say, for example, okay, see you in a fortnight, that means see you in 2 weeks. 24 hours we have in a day. We have 60 minutes in an hour. So we say an hour, okay? We don't say a hour. Or, okay, when it's one, we say an hour. We have 60 seconds in a minute, and we have 100 years in a century. Okay, so these are common expressions, very basic expressions. Remember, today, tomorrow, yesterday, the day after tomorrow, the day after before yesterday, 365 days in a year, 12 months in a year, 52 weeks in a year, 7 days in a week, 2 weeks in a fortnight, 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds in a minute, and 100 years in a century. Okay, so these are just expressions that we can use. Next, okay, now the days of the week. Note that we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, okay? When you talk about Wednesday, I would recommend that you eliminate this D and the E. So it's Wednesday, Wednesday. And here, the people sometimes get confused with Tuesday and Thursday. So this is Tuesday, Tuesday, okay? And this is Thursday, Thursday, okay? Tuesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Thursday. Don't say. Notice the form of my mouth. Okay, Tuesday. Ooh, Tuesday. And this is Thursday. Thursday. No, there's no ooh. You see, Thursday. Okay. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay. So these are the 7 days of the week. Now, the names of the days always begin with a capital letter in English. Okay, in English, remember, we're not talking about Spanish, different rules. In English, the days of the week always come with a capital letter. Now, Sunday and Saturday are the weekend, and the other days are the weekdays. Okay, so Saturday and Sunday, weekend, Monday through Friday, weekdays. Okay, Monday before 12, Monday morning. Monday between 12 and 6, Monday afternoon. Monday after 6, Monday evening. We say on Monday, on Saturday, okay? I saw her on Friday, on Tuesday evening. We say at when we talk about the weekend. I went to the cinema at the weekend, okay? Remember, on is for the days of the week or the weekdays. On Monday, on Saturday, and for example, we have classes again on Wednesday, and at for the weekend. Now, Monday afternoon, evening, night, noon, and midnight. When do we use morning? It's from sunrise to the middle of the day. Okay, so the morning is when the sun appears to the middle of the day. The afternoon is from the middle of the day to the sunset, the opposite of the sunrise. When the sun disappears, that is the afternoon. Evening is between sunset and night. Okay, so while it's still, there is no sun, but it's still clear, that is the evening. Night, it's dark, black, right? Noon is the middle of the day, midnight is the middle of the night. So we can say that, for example, 12 a.m. it's noon, 12 p.m. it's I'm sorry, 12 p.m. is noon and 12 a.m. is midnight. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so these are the times of the day. Um, and like I said, just remember capital letters and on and at. Okay. Next is the months of the seasons. Okay. For example, the months we have January. We don't say January. We say January, January, February, February, March, April, May, June, June, July, July, August. We don't say August, no. August, September, September, October. Okay, we don't say October, no. October, no, November. We don't say November, no. November. And some people say December or December. Both are possible, okay? December. Again, the names of the months in English always begin with a capital letter, okay? Different than Spanish. We always begin with the capital letters. Now, the seasons, we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Sometimes autumn is also called fall, Fall, fall. So we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Now, depending if you are in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, the seasons will vary. For example, right now in the southern hemisphere, in Peru, South America, we are in summer. But in the northern hemisphere, USA, they are in winter. Okay, so it depends on where you are at. Okay, and here in Lima, the difference between spring and summer is very light, the same as autumn and winter. Where some countries, uh, it's very, very, very noticeable the difference between autumn and winter and spring and summer. Okay, it depends on where you live. Now we say in and the months of the seasons in July, in December, in the spring, in the summer. Okay, my birthday is in July, not on. Remember, in July. We say on only when we talk when we say a specific dates. Okay, write the day in English when you do an English exercise. Always write your days. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Next, how to ask which day of the week. Okay, if you want to ask what day of the week it is, you say what day is it today, or what's the day today. So there are two ways: what day is it today, or what's the day today. What day is it tomorrow, or what's the day tomorrow. So there are two ways you can ask for the date. And you can answer by saying it's Monday today, or today is Monday. It's Monday today, or today is Monday. And for the second question, it's Tuesday tomorrow, or tomorrow is Tuesday. Okay, so there are two ways of asking for which day we are. Now for the date, if you want to ask for the date, you can say what's the date today, or what's today's date. Notice what's the day today, what is the day today, and what is today's date. This is the possessive. Okay, what is today's date, or what's today's date. The same as for tomorrow. What's the date tomorrow, or what's tomorrow's date? And we can say it's 27th September, or today it's 27th September. Tomorrow it's September 28th. Okay, always cardinal numbers. Very good. So these are ways that you ask the date and the day. Now, how to say the date. When we say date in English, we use ordinal numbers, first, second, third, fourth. So for 1 January, we don't say the cardinal number 1, but we say first. We say the before the number followed by of. For example, it's the 1st of January. Okay, so even though we write this, we say this, it's the 1st of January. It's also possible to invert the month and the day. For example, it's January 1st. Okay, so it's also possible. When you change it, you eliminate the. Notice, it's the 1st of January, or it's January 1st. In this case, you don't need to say the and of, okay, like I just mentioned. So these are two, you write it like this, 1 January, but you read it like this. It's the 1st of January, or it's January 1st, pretty soon. Now, very quickly, here are some ordinal numbers, okay, that I would like for you to look at. Normally, one is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Okay, notice how the only different ones are first, second, and third. Then everything is at the end. From 13 to 19, we continue to add to create the ordinal numbers 13, 14, etc. While from 21 to 31, the ordinal numbers end according to the ending of the second number. So for example, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and then we go 30th. Okay, and normal some months have 31st. Okay, we don't have 32nd, but okay, this is for a calendar. So remember, normally we go from 1st to 12th, we go like this. From 13th to 19th, we continue like this, but when we get to 20, we say 20 and we go back. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, etc., etc., up to 31st. Okay, very good. Now, how to write the date? Okay, we're going to go quickly because we're running out of time. When we write a date, we don't add the and the of as when we speak. So remember, it's different, like I mentioned before, how you write it and how you say it. So when you speak, you say it's the 1st of January, or it's January 1st. Okay, but when you write it's 1st January. Okay, so you write 1st January. Okay, so remember the difference between how you say it and how you write it. Okay, so when you write it, you write 1st January, but when you read it, you don't say it's 1st January, you say it's the 1st of January, or it's January 1st. As you can see, you don't need to write the number, but we usually add the last letters of the ordinal number. For example, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Okay, so remember, it's important for you to realize this. When you write the number, you write it like this, but when you read it like this: the 1st of January or January 1st. Okay. Now the year. This is something that I sometimes see people having problems with, but let's clear up. There are two ways to say the year in English. Until the year 2000, every year was pronounced as two. For example, 1485, 1750, 1900. Okay, this was until the year 2000. For the first years of a previous century, we had for example, 1901. So when it's the first years, I'd say probably until 10. 1901, 1902. While for the first 10 years of the 20th century, we use the word thousand. For example, 2000, 2006, 2004, 2007. From the years 20 and on, we say two numbers again: 2012. Okay, or right now 2019. This year 2020, right? However, some people still say 2000. It's still possible to say 2012. 2020 is still possible, but normally people say 2020, right? Next year 2021, right? But if you want, you can say 2021. It's possible, but it's not so common. Okay, so remember, this is how we say the years. I mean, until we go back to the 2006, 2005, it's going to take 100 years. So I don't think we'll ever use that again. Okay, so we'll go back to the two numbers again: 2020, 2021, 2022, etc., etc. Okay, the 1801 and 2006, these are not going to happen until 100 years, but that's always good to know. And then finally, we have American versus English difference. And this happens with Peru also. Again, for example, in Peru, we write it like this, right? We write it like this here. If you look at the dates, we write it like in the British way, right? Whereas in the American way, it's different, right? For example, in Peru, we write here, you would say today will be 28/12/2020, right? In Peru right now. But in the USA, will be 12/28/2020. Okay, so there's a difference in order of indicating the date between American and British English. In American English, is coming to put the month first, followed by the date. So, like I said, In American English, month, date, year. September 25th, 2019. In British English, we write it like this: date, month, year. 25th September 2019. Remember, when you write, when you read, this will be September 25th, right? But when you write it like this. So be careful when you write a date because as numbers is above, depending on who you're writing to, you may need to write the month to be clear, okay? So it depends, right? For example, here it's very clear that this is the date and this is the month. But what happens when it's the 12th of December or when it's the 11th of October? So the numbers can be confusing, okay? So just be careful. If you're in the United States or you're talking to somebody from the United States, you write the month, the date, and the year. But in Peru and in Britain, we write the date, the month, and the year. Okay, be careful with that. Okay, so it's always very important to be take into account, especially if you're traveling and where you're traveling, right? Because if you're traveling to the USA and you're going to book a date, you need to make sure that your calendar is the correct one. Okay, very good. On Wednesday, we're going to finish with vacations and traveling, and with some more grammar and some more templates for you to um, to to talk. Okay. Sorry, there's a typo here. I should say Wednesday, December 30th. Okay. So I'll see you on Wednesday. This is for the day. This is today's date. On Wednesday, December 30th, and we will finish the topic of traveling and vacations and things like that. I hope the classes have been productive. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your cooperation. Remember that stay tuned because there's more classes after me. We have classes, the new schedule for English are Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 in the morning. Okay. Thank you, Erika, and thank you for the people who have followed and participated during the lecture. Remember that here's my contact information. This is my email, cjmflores@gmail.com. My telephone number, 947-390-436. And finally, my LinkedIn account, cjnflres27 at LinkedIn. Okay. So if there are no questions, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for the people who have participated during Erika. Thank you very much for your participation in Facebook. And I will see you on Wednesday. Have a great Monday. Have a great beginning of the week. Please stay safe. Don't go out if it's not necessary. Okay? Stay safe and God bless. Thank you.